Hi, Dr. Lindsey here. I'm going to take you through this video, and there are two objectives to this. First, how do we tweak a hairline? And second, how do you plan for the future with regard to a small case in the hairline? So, 10 years and 4 months ago, this fella came in at age 32 with his hair pulled down, and he looks unremarkable. And then he pulls his hair back, and he wants his hairline adjusted downward slightly. And he's thinning a little bit in his frontal triangles. And so we came up with this plan. And if you look at pretty much all of my videos and our cases online, once we agree where the hairline should be, I put some irregularities so that it doesn't look like a straight line, like some of the politicians that you might see their hairline on TV almost every afternoon. Because it just doesn't look natural. You want something that is staggered, that looks like you're driving by a forest, not a straight line like a Christmas tree farm. And so we agreed on this plan, and you'll note the little protuberances out in front. We put the hair in, and we really packed it in there. We put 1,509 grafts in those two little triangles. And he did a fine job cleaning, and he came back at 10 months, and it really looks quite unremarkable. And it's got plenty of hair. For all practical purposes, I thought, job well done. But then he pulls his hair back, and nobody else can see it, but he sees it in the mirror, that the one little triangle, in fact two little triangles on his left, either I made them too far out and they're too pronounced, or perhaps some of the hairs between those two triangles didn't grow quite enough. But it bothered him, and we've done now 4,140 hair transplants. He's one of only 2 people that I had to go back and touch up those little triangles. And so at 18 months, we put a couple of hundred grafts between those 2 little triangles and to try to soften them. And he did fine. He comes back at 30 months, so a year after his little touch-up, and he looks great. He's happy, I'm happy, he looks fine, looks like a wall of hair. He's on meds, and so he came back at 5 years, still looking good. Here's a close-up of his hairlines. It's still essentially a wall of pretty dark hair. Looks great. This past week, he walked in for a refill, and I noticed that his crown's getting thin. And we moved to a new building, and the elevator has literally the worst lighting and most mirrors that you can possibly imagine in an elevator. And you get on there, and it makes everybody look like they need a hair transplant yesterday. And he noticed his crown's getting thin, and I noticed it too. And so we were talking about that, and I said, let's take some pictures of you. And so here's his front. The hairline looks unremarkable. He's now 42, still an appropriate hairline, and will still be appropriate at 52. And he couldn't be happier. And I said, you know how you didn't think you'd lose any more hair in the front because of your family background and you're on medicines? Look right here in the center. And indeed, it has gotten a little thinner there. Not a lot. You wouldn't notice it unless you're looking for that. But when I advise particularly younger patients what to expect and how to plan for the future, you just never know. Even if you don't have any family history of losing additional hair, you might be unlucky, or you might have some genes or some stress factors that cause you to lose some hair. So no matter how good it sounds, always plan for a touch-up, or maybe even a second case if you have a lot of hair loss. But in summary, when we design a hairline, we make it somewhat irregular so that it doesn't look like a straight line or a hair transplant. Only twice have we had to go back and touch up that, but it's easily touch-upable. And importantly, when you're planning on a hair transplant, even if it's a small case, plan that you might need a touch-up or a second case for additional hair loss in the future. Here's a close-up of his scar at 10 years. We did a strip case on him back in the first case. I think we did FUE for his second little procedure. But his scar is undetectable, and he still has a large amount of donor hair if he needs to do his crown at some point. We do these all the time. Give us a call. Thank you.